The images coming out of Washington, D.C. after the riots that took place there left many with questions like, how could this have been prevented and what happened? Well, security experts that we spoke to say that policy procedures will need to be reviewed. Cleanup is underway at the nation's capital. All coming after a riot broke out from a protest on the electoral process from the November election. The images, however shocking, have left many with questions, like where were law enforcement and were they prepared?
It moved from being a peaceful protest to people trying to breach the walls and get into the Capitol building itself. The security was inadequate.
Kenneth Gray, a former FBI agent, now lecturer at the University of New Haven, speaking with Fox 61 on why this was even possible in the first place. Gray says we need to look at this from two angles, the protest side and then the riot side. The protest side being that D.C. has seen protests before, but when looking at the riot side, Gray says officials may have misjudged the threat level.
It's based upon information that they are able to gather about the plans, the stated goals of the group. If they have anybody that is providing them with information, it's always possible that you might have citizens that are providing tips, leads. They will need to revisit their security postures for different groups.
The Capitol breach has left 4 dead, more than 80 people arrested, but within the number of arrested, at least 2 confirmed from Connecticut, 40-year-old Victoria Bergensen and 40-year-old Mauricio Mendez, both charged with unlawful entry and curfew violation. In any case, this incident still baffles some former congressional staff members like Dr. Jonathan Wharton.
It's going to take a while to exactly understand what took place. This is an unusual moment for something like this to happen, especially when this is a time when Congress is doing its duty.
According to Gray, more than one agency will be involved in the investigation, and this insurrection does not fall on just one agency.
There's more than one agency that has to weigh in on this. With the crowd this big, one might ask the question why the National Guard was not involved sooner.
All questions that will only be answered in time.
So it's going to see, I think a lot of this is still going to come out. I don't think we're done with this yet.
While officials are reviewing policies at the nation's capital, here in Connecticut, officials are reviewing their own policies to make sure what happened in D.C. doesn't happen here. We're in Hartford. Brian Ditlake, Fox 61 News.